Hello, everybody, and welcome to another broadcast with Derek Schooley, myself, Tim Benz, and Mike Prisuta, your broadcast team for Colonials hockey games on Flow Hockey and Sportsnet Pittsburgh. It's our coaches show with Derek Schooley. Thanks for coming on board. We got a lot to talk about today as it relates to Colonials hockey. They got the regular season finale series against Air Force coming up over the weekend at Clearview Arena. You can watch both games on Sportsnet Pittsburgh, also on the RMU Game Day app and on Flow Hockey. Before we get there, Derek, a couple of things we have to address, and first and foremost, for hockey fans in Pittsburgh, for hockey fans anywhere, sort of a sad day in the sense that Mike Lang passed away, but it's also a day to, in my estimation anyway, celebrate who he was and talk about what he meant to the game of hockey, what he meant to the game of hockey here in Pittsburgh, and how important he was to the fabric of the sport and its growth. He was there from Jump Street with the Pens, basically, and really was part of the ascent of the organization. I know you grew up in St. Louis. I'm just wondering if Mike Langisms were part of your hockey vocabulary when you grew up as a hockey fan.
Well, I mean, I got a chance to listen to Dan Kelly growing up, which is obviously one of the best of all time as well. But you would hear the scratch my back with a hacksaw and all that for different things. But really, when I moved to Pittsburgh, it was an opportunity to see one of the greatest in action. I met him a few times when I'd go up to see Phil Bork in the press box. My oldest daughter, Caitlin, tried out for the Pens junior reporter, and he was outstanding with her. And just a sad day in Pittsburgh hockey, but not even Pittsburgh hockey, just Pittsburgh in general, because he's such a fabric of the community and a fabric of life in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and I would just add, Derek, he's not only a guy who celebrated the championships and became recognizable for, Lord Stanley passed me the brandy. He called a lot of bad hockey before Mario got here, and even after Mario got here. I don't think there's a Penguins team in Pittsburgh without Mike Lang, because I don't think the franchise would have survived without Mike Lang just resonating with the few people who were hockey fans at the time and growing the game no matter the quality of the on-ice product. His passion for it, his understanding of it, and his ability to express both in as entertaining a fashion as he did. There's maybe one guy more important in Penguins history than Mario Lemieux, than Mike Lang, and that's Mario Lemieux. I think there should be another statue outside the arena sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I'd echo that, Mike. And I think from my standpoint as somebody who's called games, there's so much I picked up through Mike through osmosis, just when it comes to his ability to connote the energy and enthusiasm and excitement of a moment, even if it's got nothing to do with a goal call. Everybody remembers Mike's goal calls, but what he did in between those moments, I think, is really what separates him from a lot of other broadcasters. His play-by-play style was just fantastic, and he will be missed. He'll be missed as a friend. He'll be missed as a colleague, and everything else in Pittsburgh. So I just want to take a moment here to sort of honor Mike and talk about Mike a little bit. And before we get to your games, Derek, also going to talk about the game that's tonight, Canada and Team USA. It is the Four Nations final. Are there any viewing parties planned for the Colonials, and do you have to separate the American guys from the Canadian guys?
No, I think that'll happen organically. I think we'll, if this was a Monday or whatever, we might have our own little Canada-U.S. battle. But, obviously everybody's excited. They want good hockey, and they want people to be healthy. And I think that's the biggest thing, of finding out who's healthy for this game. And what a good we watched that chance together to watch the one last Saturday, and what an outstanding event that was.
Yeah, I'm certainly I don't know when people are going to see this, if they catch it on Thursday or maybe Friday before the Colonials play Air Force. But this is pregame when we're taping this, and this is my Brian Leach authentic 1996 World Cup of Hockey home jersey, purchased at Madison Square Garden on the occasion of a 5-2 U.S. preliminary round victory over the Russians. I'm all in on the U.S.
Derek, how about you guys when you get ready for Air Force here coming up this weekend? How you feeling coming off of last weekend's games, and where do you think your team is now heading towards the final regular season matchup against the Falcons? You ended up beating Niagara in overtime, 4-3 final score there, and then lost in overtime, 2-1 to Niagara at Clearview Arena. What'd you take away from those two games?
I was really pleased with how we got our energy back. After coming off a 1-0 loss and a 6-0 loss to Bentley, it would have been real easy to say, you know what, that's it. We're going downhill. We've been sick, as you can tell by my voice. We've been injured. Let's pack it in. But our guys didn't. Our guys played hard. We had the energy back that we had previously to the start of 2025. I thought it was a great weekend for us. Niagara's got a bye. They're battling for third, fourth place. And we went out and we outplayed them on Friday night. Late goal to tie it. We won in overtime. Saturday, they won in overtime on a power play goal. Pretty even series. And I think you guys were obviously on the call, but I think you saw the Colonials kind of return to where we had been before.
Of course, you're playing Air Force. It's a long-standing rival. And a little bit more than that, can you just, from a personal standpoint, can you just kind of remind everybody about your relationship with head coach Frank Serratori of the Falcons?
Oh, you got to put me on the spot. I mean, I played junior hockey for Frank in 1989-90. Frank gave me my first full-time coaching job. I worked at Cornell as a third assistant. Frank hired me at Air Force in 1997. I was there for 5 years. We became great friends. We're still great friends to this day. Carol, his wife, is the godmother of my oldest daughter, Caitlin, who plays on our women's team. And we go out there every summer. Caitlin's worked the Air Force hockey camps and trained at Air Force the last 2 summers, as my son Brendan has as well. So there's a lot of connections. Joe Doyle, their associate head coach I worked with. Andy Berg, their assistant, I coached there for 4 years. So we've got a lot of history and a lot of connections.
You're sitting with 26 points right now, Derek. Air Force with 32, AIC with 27. We've talked many times over about the goal of trying to get a home first round game in the knockout stage. As far as where you are positioned and the importance of these 6 points that are out there, can you kind of speak to that?
Well, everybody's given up points. I mean, Sacred Heart beat AIC the other day in the last minute to stop them from getting points. Everybody's given up points. You'd love to have some points back. But really, we put everything in our own hands right now. I know Mike says fate, destiny, whatever. We go out and we win 2 games. We get home ice. We go out and win 1. We put ourselves in a good spot, depending on what AIC does. So we just got to go out and play. And we've got to make sure that we're playing our best hockey heading into playoffs, which is next Saturday.
What's the lineup going to look like against the Falcons, Derek?
Other than maybe my voice, 100% healthy, minus one of our goalies, Dylan Milan's still out. But we've got everybody back and available.
So it looks like Klimke might be able to return then, huh?
Everybody's back and available.
How's he progressed from the injury? You're finding that I know he was able to keep skating, which is obviously a big benefit. To that point, timing, what's the thing that has to come back the fastest for him to be a contributor this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, he's just got to get back into the swing of things. It's been since RIT, which was in the middle of January, so he's been out for 5-6 weeks. It's just about getting your game speed back, and these are important hockey games. But anytime you can add he was your leading scorer, and he isn't now, but anytime you can add that back to your lineup, that's a pretty good thing.
And, knock on wood, you get the guys back, particularly Klemke and Van Wy. No matter what happens in the games, at least they'll be playing games in advance of the postseason.
That is correct. But the postseason is not like the NHL where it's 4 out of 7. It's one game. So you got to be ready to go. And like you said, it's good to have them back getting games before that one game knockout.
I know Van Wy is important, too, on the blue line. Derek, Mike just alluded to him. How'd you find your other defensemen handled the increased playing time and minutes with Luke out?
Well, I mean, we've had everybody out. We've had from Luke out to Krager's been out to Lund's been out. A lot of guys have been out. So it's everybody's kind of had to pick up minutes. The one thing I'll say is that we need to make sure that I talked about it in post game. is we got to be more disciplined. We've taken 3 5-minute majors in the last 4 games. We can't have that happen. And, we took a penalty with 9 seconds left in the game the other night, which cost us an overtime. But they had took one the night before. So it's who's going to be more disciplined at this time of the year.
Also, Derek, from the standpoint of your goaltender, Croy Kokendorfer, he came back and was able to play, and I know you were short goaltender-wise. How was Croy's performance against Niagara with everybody else hurt?
It was good. He makes massive saves. It's just the weird ones that gotta stop going in. Like they bounced the first one off his back from below the goal line. They beat him clean on Friday night from outside the top of the circles. But he makes massive saves. It was good to have him back. His save percentage was over 90 each game, and obviously, Dawson's available as well. He'll be back in the mix, and we'll have Luke Zukowski as our third goalie.
Derek, we referenced your long association with Air Force a little while ago. The Falcons normally are closer to the top of the league than the bottom. This is a little bit of an uncharacteristic season. What do you see from Air Force, and more importantly, what do you expect annually with a program that's had the same coach for 28 seasons?
Well, they play hard. They compete. They want to ring pucks. They've always had a good power play, good, outstanding penalty killing. They've got some high-end players. Clayton Constantino's a really good forward for them. Chris Hedden is arguably one of the better defensemen in the league. And then they've got Guy Blessing, who's been a 4-year starter for him. So you've got a high-end guy at each position for sure. And they've got a lot of guys sprinkled in behind. Schwartz was outstanding against us last year. So I think you're going to see a well battled series. And, we got 2 teams that, we've been struggling. They haven't had the best go at it lately. They had a 4-1 lead over Army with going into the third and then lost in a shootout last week. So, it's 2 teams that are trying to get their game right heading into the playoffs.
If the goalie goes trick-or-treating, is he a blessing in disguise?
Even with the cold, I'm not even going to laugh at that because it's going to hurt my voice. It's going to hurt my throat.
Before we go, Derek, when it comes to seniors, I know obviously in this being the second year of the rebuild, you don't have a ton of upperclassmen, but you do have some grad student transfers. And Gavin Goulash comes to mind, too, as a guy who stuck with it through your program, through the rebuild, through the off year. Can you talk about your outgoing seniors and what do you have planned for Senior Day festivities this weekend?
Yeah, we're going to have a party post a reception and gathering post game, but it's all about honoring the seniors. Mitch Dealster's been outstanding for us, 12 power play goals, tied for the league in the nation. Eric DeDobler's brought a lot of culture and chemistry from UMass because of his experience of being in a high level program. Gavin has been outstanding for us. He's just a player that he's been here for almost 6 years now. He sat out through the rebuild. He got honored last year, so we're just going to he's not going to get the full treatment this year because he chose last year, but he's been very important to our program. And then Cody Mons is a highly skilled guy that came from 2 high-level programs as well. And Trevor Ledun's been here for 2 years, had blocked shots, plays physical, had a massive game against Miami where he scored 2 goals. It's just it's a small class, but it's an important class in the continuous building of the program.
Well, Derek, get better, get the voice healthy. If worst comes to worst, we can have Katie interview Ryan DeRocher or something during intermissions if you can't hack it.
I feel like I sound like Robert Kennedy Jr. I got this little raspy thing going.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to go off on your medical theories at all in between now and the end of the broadcast.
No, I'm talking and I'm hearing my voice and I'm like, I got to get this right here quickly.
Yeah, you got until the first period break and then you're on. So,
well, I got practice today too, so we still got I might be a little more quiet today than animated. That's for sure.
The broadcast, I think, is more important to Tim and I than what you do at practice today.
Let Nicholson or DeRocher yell at the players so you can save your voice for us.
We're talking about not talking about practice. We're talking about the game.
Yes.
All right, Derek. We'll see you on Friday.
USA. USA tonight.
All right, Derek Schooley, head coach of the RMU Colonials. Brian Leach, my co-host and play-by-play partner. Tim Benz saying, enjoy the game tonight. Go USA. And watch us on Flow Hockey and on Sportsnet Pittsburgh on Friday and Saturday night against Air Force.